Hey, Nathan.
What's going on, Lucas?
I have a joke for you.
I mean, I was just watching Shane Gillis, so you're gonna have to live up. Let's see.
Someone stole my antidepressants. I hope they're happy. Nothing.
This makes me want to cry.
What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to our latest episode of the Retic Lounge. I'm Lucas, your co host, and joined by Nathan, your other co host as well. Thanks so much for hanging in with us and continuing to watch our stuff. We have an awesome episode for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about mentorship, what to look for in a mentorship, and just a bunch of other stuff in regards to what it means to have a mentor, what you should look for in them. And yeah, before we get jumping into the episode, just want to remind you guys, if you guys have not taken a look at our Patreon, go ahead and go to patreon.com/the Retic Lounge. Awesome community that we have so far with some content that you won't be able to find on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, which brings us to, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget, like, subscribe, and comment. And go ahead and give us a like and a follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Even if you don't like it, just give it a 5 stars and leave a bad review. I think that'd be pretty cool. Um,
Sure thing.
anyways,
So, guys, just remember we're always going to be supporting USARC. Member numbers are the most important thing, as always. So go ahead, support our boys at USARC. Lucas, let's jump into it.
yeah. So, like, what is a mentor? And like, I think most of you guys that are probably going to be watching, pretty self-explanatory. Like, what is a mentor? But what I'm referring to, at least with mentorship, and is someone that is helping newcomers walk through their experience with keeping retics early on. Someone that you can go to ask the basic questions, to ask the complex questions. You have a sick snake, you have something going on with your husbandry, whatever the case may be. This is someone that you holler at, or someone that's even local that is giving you hands-on experience before you even get your first animal. Um, what was it like for you um, having a mentor early on?
Everything. So I got luckier than most, just being in the fact that my mentor was already local to me, somewhat local, was coming up north for the reptile shows, so I'd see him a couple times a year, and I'd get to interact with super dwarfs. So, I mean, that kind of interaction, and honestly, he was just a super open individual. He could tell I was eager to learn about these animals, and you know, those are the kinds of things that really propelled me to keeping this guy around. It's just how willing he was to include me into the years of knowledge he's accumulated in keeping and breeding these animals, and the hands-on was huge for me.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is it's important to find someone that, for some people, finding someone that has a good amount of experience with keeping these animals. Um, would you say that the number of years or the number of animals within that species you're keeping is more important? Is it equally important?
I think it has a lot to do with attitude and just I mean, if someone's willing to let you come in, see their collection, or you see their animals on a regular basis, or you reach out with questions and they're just eager to help you, um, that was kind of what I was, you know, always basing what I'm looking for in someone that's helping me along the way with the animals. And the first guy, or I guess the first couple of guys I ran into who were working with super dwarfs or any kind of reticulated pythons, they were always just there for me if I had any questions. They knew eventually I was going to be getting into these animals just with my level of curiosity. So, you know, I think if you find someone with the same level of passion as you, and they can identify that at an early age, they're gonna be pretty eager to help you along the way. I'm a teacher at a hair school. Um, I was actually talking with my coworkers today about this. It's extremely easy to pick out the students who, in a year from now, in 5 years from now, whatever it may be, who are going to be still working in the industry. The hair industry is an extremely high turnover rate industry. There's, 90% of these people aren't going to last the first 5 years. Um, Maybe not even the first year. And it's sad, but you can tell almost within the first 3 to 6 months within their first year of schooling if they're going to make it or not. And it's, I think we can see that within this industry as well, and our mentors and people who have that experience can see that as well. So, the eager to learn are going to be able to get pretty good information pretty easily just based off the passion they show.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, and that's what I think lends mentors to being patient with those that they're working with, is being able to possibly see some of those features of, oh, this person is serious and not someone who just thinks that, breeding retics is, going to make you a quick buck, or even just having realistic expectations of, even if you're just a keeper. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of people that have this false idea that, retic is a get rich quick scheme, where people, acquire some adult animals and they think in 3 years they're going to make 150, $200,000 based off of A, B, and C. And it's always important to remember we're working with animals, and, the predictability of predicting an income any given year is just, it's not ever going to work the way. Sometimes it'll work, more in your favor, and sometimes it'll, undercut you by a lot, and it can be disappointing. And so I think for me, finding a mentor is someone who's patient, because for me, I had a lot of questions, and still have a lot of questions. I mean, I just had, an hour long conversation with someone on the phone last week about my ambient humidity, because ambient is new for me. And so trying to figure out wind or air circulation in the room, and cold spots and hot spots in the room. And so, yeah. Now, one thing that I want to, this is kind of something that some people feel strongly about and others don't really care, but I'm curious on what your thoughts are, and then I'll share mine. Um, how many mentors should you have? Like, should you just go to one person? Should you have a few, a handful? Should you just ask everyone the same question and wait for the first one to respond?
So I'll put it like this. I've been going through some crazy shit in my life lately, and it's like asking me, should I only have one friend to go to with some of the stuff I'm dealing with right now? No, I think I need different people in my life who know, me at a different level. And, I think uh ultimately you should be just looking for people who align with maybe the way you would like to keep these animals. Hopefully you want to keep the animals to the best of your abilities. You want to keep them clean, healthy, all of the above, right? So you want to look at people who have been doing stuff successfully. They have a clean and healthy collection. That's what I look for. Someone who's putting out good information, and just people I look up to. There's tons of people I look up to in this retic community, and I honestly couldn't tell you how many mentors I have. Do I talk to them all the time? No, but I'm when I'm in need, I know I have, a good handful of people I can send a message to, and I know that they're going to be willing to respond to me and help me.
You stopped right as I took a sip. Sorry.
No, no,
Um,
you're good. I'm gonna have
so
to run to get another drink in a second here anyway, so I'm hoping you go on a rant.
Lucas's rant's coming up. But I will say that, yeah, I mean, definitely someone you look up to, right? And what makes a mentor good for me is someone that, like you mentioned, just someone that you can that you're working to aspire to have that same level of competency, confidence with their animals, takes care and loves their animals. Um, and I'm not one who thinks that you should only have one person, like, especially when it comes to breeding, because everyone does things a little bit differently. And I've said this before on different episodes, but you know, I cannot. I guess the way that I see things with my growth and how I want to advance in the industry is, and I don't mean this in a competitive way, but like if someone is doing something that works for them, someone else is doing something that works different for them. Um, I try to combine all the information I gather to create my own way of doing things using the little bits from a bunch of people. And what I mean by a bunch is I don't have 10 people that I message the same question to, but I definitely have about like four. And I think that that's okay. Like Nathan said, if you're going through a hard time in life, are you just going to go to one person? No, same thing with keeping your retics. If you're struggling with husbandry or breeding or whatever the case may be, it's nice to have a handful of people for you to be able to go to see what's going on, because what one person says will work, maybe just one part of that worked, but you gathered something else from someone else and that also helped work. And when you combine the information and knowledge and you create something that's new to yourself because you're using multiple different ideologies, that's, I think, how true growth happens. If you mimic someone exactly what they do, you cannot expect for your results to be any better than theirs. And at the end of the day, I think we should all be pushing each other to always be better, and not better than someone else specifically, but better for the animals. I think that's an important thing, to always try to advance and be better for the animals. And so if someone is good for their animals and someone else is good, but they do it differently, if you can combine those theories and understandings to create your own perspective and then advance, that's where the key is for me.
Yeah, and some of my favorite mentors have quite different opinions when it comes to, I don't know, for example, feeding towards breeding time. And I respect both of their opinions just as much. I think it just comes down to really watching and knowing your animals. You know, at the end of the day, put everything you've been told to practice when the time comes and you need to, but you know, you have at least the knowledge from all these other people who have done it before you to at least try something if something's not working out for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think what's really important when you're finding that mentor, and like one thing that I want to discuss is like really take a look at your relationship with this individual. If this person is someone that you can only get help and advice from if you spend money with them, you know, sure, if their information is going to cost you the price of an animal and you're okay with that, great. I've learned to not. I don't appreciate that kind of relationship, because
My
it's a
my
it.
I want to cut you off for just a second. My first mentor, he was producing super dwarf reticulated pythons that were 100% within my parameters, and he led me on to a different breeder to start out.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and
ultimately, like I said, it comes down to the passion that you show with these animals. The right mentor will see that and lead you in the right direction, whether it's going to lead them to a sale or not. It led him to a sale down the road, but that's because I absolutely respected the guy and had to have one of his animals.
yeah. One thing that I've learned, or actually going back to what I was saying, because I was about to hop on another tangent. But yeah, if your relationship with someone is conditional based on your business to them, I don't necessarily consider that a mentor. That is someone that is is saying, I'm going to help you in the hopes of gaining your sale. When I gain your sale, I'll help you some more. But if you stop buying from me, I'm not going to really respond. Um, I understand that time is time. A lot of people have a lot of people asking them questions and they're going to respond to their customers. I get it. I'm not saying that like people are bad for doing that, but in terms of who I want to keep in my circle, um, yeah, I'll just throw a name out there. For example, me and Eric Lee for the last like year and a half have been getting close and talking almost like every other day, sharing pictures, ideas, thoughts, helping each other with our garage builds that we've done almost around the same time. I haven't bought a single animal from the guy. And this is someone who, he'll reach out to me casually to talk, and I'll reach out to him casually to talk. And he's someone that I go to almost all the time when I have an issue pop up, right? Like I just asked him a silly question the other day, like, how many weeks after baby's first sheds do you wait to feed them, right? There's no right or wrong answer to that. I was just curious and he gave me a long response, and again, I plan to buy an animal from him, and I'm sure me and him will exchange animals at some point, but he does not have my business yet, and he is still just takes the time to answer phone calls. Those are the kind of people that I want in my inner circle. So,
Well,
Eric,
and
I appreciate you.
he was the first person I ever bought an animal from. And I'm as picky when I buy animals. I mean, I only have 6, but it's because I've been pretty selective over the years. Yeah, I don't have the room or necessarily the budget to keep much more than I have right now, but Eric from the get go was willing to help me, was willing to talk me through what bloodlines he was working with, how big the parents were, where the parents originated from. It's just that kind of level of service that everyone looks for. You should look for the same thing when you're buying an animal, when you're looking for a mentor, someone who's just willing and open to work with you. You know, obviously when you're buying an animal there's money involved, but mentorship is just purely passion and information that you're trying to receive.
Yeah. So, I try to keep people in my circle that are going to do that, that are going to give me their time, not just because they're trying to get my business, but because ultimately they want to see me be successful. And I think that's what it comes down to. Is people that are good mentors, in my opinion, want to see the people that they're helping be successful, and that are not greedy about needing to make all the money and all the business come to them and that kind of stuff. So, um, hopefully that's information that some of you get and you keep into account in terms of conditional mentorship or not. Um, what do you think like a healthy mentoree or student relationship looks like?
So I'm still pretty new into the breeding aspect of keeping reticulated pythons. So I've had a handful of people reach out to me with questions, and I give what I can. Just like this podcast, I only offer what my experience allows me to. So, um, I look for in a mentor to in our relationship to just be honest and open. I don't want to hear that they are the number one go-to source for keeping and breeding these animals. Nothing like that. I just want to hear experiences and what has helped them in the past if they had a situation similar to what I'm dealing with. Or just general questions if they're open and just, you know, let me know the reality of what could come.
Yeah.
It's just that experience, no bullshit. Like, I'm not the person, but I do have this experience kind of interaction that I look for.
Yeah. I like some of the people that I like the most. Like, I love people that tell me, like, you're overthinking things. Just chill out. Like, I like
I tell
honesty.
my students that all the time. I
Yeah.
tell that's the number one problem I have with my students is like, dude, you're just trying to cut hair. You're 10 steps ahead of me. just slow the fuck down, listen, do this one thing that I just told you. I'll give you your next step in 5 minutes and we'll get this done. I promise you it'll look great. Just get out of your head.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And I mean, I because, I'll have my tangents that I'm like, but she looked gravid, and then she looked like she ovulated, but now she doesn't, and now she's skinny, and now she looks big, and it's like, and people are like, "Yo, there's only so much you can do. Just wait for the next shed cycle, chill." And I'm like, "You're right, you're right, you're right."
Yeah, I literally just did that same thing with you. I was like, I swear I caught an ovulation. She shed out. I put the male back, that whole thing. And then like she's not looking as big as a couple years before. I go in today and she's looking giant.
Right,
So yeah, you just need to slow down and trust the process a little bit. Trust your mentors if you trust them.
right. And yeah, and I mean, speaking about trusting mentors, man, I've had great mentors, and it's come to find out that I've had not so great mentors. So, um, I'm gonna go on my rant of the episode. When you guys are very new in the industry and you're picking out a mentor and you're finding people to help you out, go to people that seem open and willing, right? That's a no-brainer. But if you see red flags with this person, um, or you hear about red flags about this person, and your gut is like kind of telling you like, hey, something's up, like always listen to your,
Follow your gut.
yeah, follow your gut.
I
Because
I know better than anyone. Follow your gut.
uh this is hitting close to home, huh?
Fucking do it. Follow your gut.
So yeah, I mean, I had a mentor early on that, people would tell me, red flags left and right, and I ignored it because um I thought that this person was, the way that they portrayed themselves too, and then fast forward several years, and um yeah, just it sucks to know that someone that you think cares about you, it's really not. It's again, it's more of that conditional basis relationship. So, in terms of like what to look for in a mentor, like make sure that you know that that person is a good person, right? They might be knowledgeable in retics, but is that someone that you want to associate yourself with, talk to, and um,
Yeah, I want to speak on this in terms of retics and not not just what I was talking about in terms of follow your gut, but there were some of the same people that I were interacting with or just looking at some of the animals that they had because undeniably they had amazing animals in their collection. So you're gonna naturally reach out, especially if you're new and don't know the ins and outs of the community. Um, and on some of these people, I had that slight gut feeling where I just kind of ghosted them and just something felt off, didn't end up buying an animal or just didn't like some advice I got. And, I just disengage. I'm not like cutting the person out. I'll definitely still support. And, if they're going to produce good animals and, they're not, just being a retic mill or just like trying to profit off these animals regardless of the health or well-being of the animals, then I'm going to root you on. I'm going to be a fan of yours, but I might not go to you for advice. It's just that simple.
yeah. So to end my rant, back to what Nathan said, follow your gut and make sure you really know the person before you decide to invest the next 2 years of learning from them under their wing and thinking that, you're learning from someone that is a good person with a good reputation that you think has your best interests, and then you find out it doesn't because I made that mistake. But you live and learn, and at the end of the day, you get some good information, but
Hey, I've
it's
done
much.
that with my animals. If only I could apply this to my personal life, we'd be flying
Would
high,
be
buddy.
golden.
Yep.
I'm the opposite. I'm doing okay in my personal life. Trusting mentors in the Retic community, not so much. But yeah, so I guess rant over. But in terms of what I'm looking for I mentioned what I look for in like a mentor. But I'm starting to reach a point now, and I don't know why. Like, I don't consider myself a mentor, but I have a lot of people that message me with questions, and I just find myself, I'm a helpful person. I'll give you the experience that I know, and I will give you, if I don't know the information or haven't gone through that experience, but I've heard it from a mentor of mine of what people have done, I always start off with, I haven't experienced that, but I've heard that A, B, and C can work, and I'll throw that out there. But so I don't really
Or
consider,
references to other people. I give people
yeah,
references all the time.
yeah, just pass the baton. But if someone's going to reach out to me for assistance, one thing is like um applying the stuff that I'm providing, right? Like I want to, if you're asking me for input, give it a shot before you shoot it down, or else like why are you reaching out to people for help if you're never going to try what they're asking you to do? But also just like patience with me, as I'll have patience with you. But at the end of the day, I think for the most part, I'm a helper in general. I think that's why my profession, outside of snakes, that's what I do. And I've been a supervisor in that perspective. And so I really just I enjoy the whole supervisee teaching process a lot. And so I'm always open and available to talk, because at the end of the day, I love talking about these animals more than I like talking about anything. So if
I
you
mean,
really just
that's what this podcast is about. We're not trying to be the source for reticulated pythons. We're just trying to help
God,
people
no.
along the way like we wish people would have helped us along the way
Right.
by offering experience-based knowledge and nothing but that. And we're a wealth of knowledge of just other resources we can lead you to. If we don't have the answer, we know someone else that may.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And again, this is a positive community that we're trying to provide here for people to connect together on our Patreon and help each other. And it be a community help where people ask a question and you'll get answers from a bunch of different people that will vary, all the way from the moon to the sun. And it's like that's the beautiful part about, our Patreon. So again, as a reminder, just check it out. Our entry level is $5 a month, and try it for the month. Join our Discord, and we're positive you'll be happy with the Discord chat.
Okay, quickly before we get out of here, Lucas, I'm going to switch things up a little bit. We don't pump ourselves up enough about just what we've got going on. I have a pretty small collection, so I know when I have eggs hit the ground, I'm going to be just nerding out about it. You're having the biggest collection of the year. You just had Kiowati babies hatch. What do you have in the incubator? What's up next to hatch?
Yeah, so Coyotes just hatched, hatching the first week of January. Pure Calatoas, wild caught female to a TK male. So super excited and stoked about that. I just had my Philippine female lay. She's an F1 Philippine that is with, I bred her to that same TK Calatoa male. So trying to shrink down some size while keeping some color. So that's not going to probably hatch until like March. Let's see, December, January, February, March, yeah, about. Yeah, that's what I got right now going. And then I do have one expected clutch to drop, but I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch. So we'll just leave it
Same
at those three.
same thing here. I'm potentially about 2.5 weeks away from my second ever clutch dropping from my purple albino female. Just watching, waiting patiently, incubator ready to go. So I'll keep everyone updated on that. Trying to keep more consistent on social media within the Retic Lounge, Cats Reptiles. Lucas is over at Lab Exotics, so make sure you go follow him over there. We got the Retic Lounge on Patreon, and make sure you guys are following US Arc, supporting US Arc. wherever you can. Make sure you're a member. They are fighting for our rights to keep the reptiles that we love. So make sure we're backing them up. So, guys, we'll see you next week. And yeah,
Have a good one.
have a good one.